Jung once stated that there is no such thing as a pure introvert or extrovert. Such a person would be in the lunatic asylum. Based on this statement, as well as many others, the 16 Myers-Briggs types are generated on the principle that a personality is formed by a balanced stack of the 8 directional functions. For instance, if an individual has a strong preference for extroverted thinking, an extroverted rational function, then their secondary preference must be an introverted irrational function. The reason for this is because no one is a pure extrovert or introvert, neither is anyone purely rational or irrational. Therefore, the second function is always a complement to the dominant function. The complement to extroverted thinking is an introverted irrational function, meaning there are 2 possible choices: introverted sensation and introverted intuition. Depending on which of these 2 choices is preferred more, sensation or intuition, determines the specific Myers-Briggs type. In this way, the 8 directional functions are doubled to 16 personality types. However, function stacking goes even further. A personality does not just have 2 functions, but 4 functions. The third and fourth functions are the functional opposites of the more preferred functions. In this way, a personality always demonstrates all 4 functions: thinking, feeling, sensation, and intuition. The only question is in what order of preference. The fourth and last function in the stack is the functional opposite of the most dominant function, and therefore becomes repressed under the weight and preference of the dominating function. This repression causes certain disadvantages or quirks in the personality and acts as an Achilles heel. It is often called the repressed function. The third function, often called the tertiary function, is not generally considered repressed by the typology world, but it is my personal opinion that the third function is to some degree repressed, and although it does not demonstrate any severe personality quirks or difficulties, some have described it to be naive or juvenile. I interpret this in the sense that while it does not pose necessary problems in a person's personality, it is somewhat underdeveloped and always demonstrates a childish sense of wonder in its operation, as compared to a personality with that function dominating, who is a much more experienced and possibly jaded approach to parts of that function's operation. The second function, or auxiliary function, acts as an assisting function, not as prominent as the dominant function, but a very noticeable part of a personality, whose main job is to assist and balance the dominating function. The first function, or dominant function, is what the person does best and all the time. It is a driving factor to all it does, and because of its prominence, by necessity represses its functional opposite, the repressed function. The functional opposites are as follows: extroverted thinking versus introverted feeling, extroverted feeling versus introverted thinking, extroverted sensation versus introverted intuition, and extroverted intuition versus introverted sensation. This is a chart displaying the functional stacks for each of the 16 types, which you can copy down for your reference. The remaining videos in this Jungian Typology series will tackle each of the 16 personalities in more detail. You will notice as you watch that I often contradict my previous loyalty to non-behaviorist Jungian typology. However, in order to describe the 16 types in any way that will be useful and entertaining, I will have to enter the world of behaviorism at some point to describe those possible behaviors that often are associated with certain personalities, or most often demonstrate the processes going on in each personality's mind. But in doing so, I seek to describe those attributes of the 16 personalities that stand out the most about them or especially set them apart, and are not their only known attributes. For instance, if I state that one type is especially generous, that is not to say that all other types are not generous. It is just to say that research into that type has revealed that generosity is an especially present and designating characteristic of most people in that type. Some others in that type may not demonstrate it as prominently due to their differing circumstances or development. And now, as a taste of the following videos, based off of the previous definitions given and information provided by the Typology for Absolute Beginners infographic by CelebrityTypes.com, I present a very brief review of the 16 types. ESTJ, extroverted thinking with introverted sensation, outside logical standards with personal traditions and symbols, responsible results-driven leaders. ESFJ, extroverted feeling with introverted sensation, outside sentimental standards with personal traditions and symbols, warm-hearted elicitors of cooperation. ENTJ, extroverted thinking with introverted intuition, outside logical standards with urgent personal visions, bold problem-solving authorities. ENFJ, extroverted feeling with introverted intuition, outside sentimental standards with urgent personal visions, socially concerned communicators. ISTP, introverted thinking with extroverted sensation, personal logical principles with awareness of reality, cool-headed problem solvers. ISFP, introverted feeling with extroverted sensation, personal sentimental principles with awareness of reality, quiet and sincere artists. INTP, introverted thinking with extroverted intuition, personal logical principles with awareness of possibilities and ideas, impersonally theoretical professors. INFP, introverted feeling with extroverted intuition, personal sentimental principles with awareness of possibilities and ideas, creative nonconformist dreamers. ESTP, extroverted sensation with introverted thinking, awareness of reality with personal logical principles, big thinking action people. ESFP, extroverted sensation with introverted feeling, awareness of reality with personal sentimental principles, big-hearted enjoyers of life. ENTP, extroverted intuition with introverted thinking, awareness of possibilities and ideas with personal logical principles, clever and innovative debaters. ENFP, extroverted intuition with introverted feeling, awareness of possibilities and ideas with personal sentimental principles, gregarious and quirky wanderers. ISTJ, introverted sensation with extroverted thinking, personal traditions and symbols with outside logical standards, realistic and thorough guardians. ISFJ, introverted sensation with extroverted feeling, personal traditions and symbols with outside sentimental standards, cordial and dedicated guardians. INTJ, introverted intuition with extroverted thinking, urgent personal visions with outside logical standards, tenacious and independent visionaries. INFJ, introverted intuition with extroverted feeling, urgent personal visions with outside sentimental standards, perfectionistic and insightful idealists. So, did you get all that? Great. You are now educated by a concerned observer of personality types. Coming soon are specific videos exploring each of the 16 Myers-Briggs types, each probably about 3 to 4 minutes each. Thanks for watching, and I hope these have been useful to you.